I would like to start the meeting. It is 6:05. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everybody. Commissioner LaRose, would you be so kind to do a roll call?
Sure. Layton,
She's excused.
Garland,
Present.
Andrews,
Here.
Walsh,
Here.
Studziński,
Here.
LaRose here, and
Commissioner Lutz.
Sarah Lutz.
She's excused as well. All right, moving along with the agenda here. Once everybody has a second to give it a good review, if anybody would like to entertain a motion in a second.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of our September
Oh,
meeting.
sorry, we're still on agenda.
Sorry.
Well, I guess, technically I should be asking about the review for conflict of interest. I'm sorry. Is there any conflict of interests?
No.
Okay. For now we're on approval of the agenda. Sorry about that.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Nice.
Okay, got a motion by Commissioner LaRose, a second by Commissioner Andres. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now is the time for public comment, and we do not have any public comment, so we'll move along down to approval of the minutes for September 19th, 2022. I'm trying to remember, was Joe Underwood just in attendance at the meeting, or did he actually speak? I think he was just popping in to listen.
Yeah, he did mention that he was there in his name. I almost
Okay.
didn't put it in, but because he did speak and introduce himself, I
Okay,
left it in.
all right.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 19th, 2022.
Approved.
All right, got a motion by Andres, second by LaRose. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, moving along down to item 7. Correspondence. I think this would probably be, is this where we would address the email from the,
Yeah, did it go to, went to the whole, yeah. And I actually, so the email you're talking about is hunting on Holiday Woodlands, and the supervisor did send an email. It looks like she got an email probably from the same individual,
Okay.
I'm guessing. And, this isn't specific, but it talks about, does it allow hunting in township parks? And she had mentioned that she thought it had come up before, would alert the person that hunting is not allowed and see if she can dig up some additional information.
Yeah, didn't we
So-
have that problem with geese or duck hunting over in Arbutus? I don't know if any of you were on the board at the time, but yeah, we had the same issue over at Arbutus.
and I'd have to kind of look into it more, but I know that there's certain exceptions for hunting on parkland that has received the trust fund grant. And usually I think it's within like 450 feet or you can't hunt within 450 feet of a trail, building, facility and such. So depending on how the trails are laid out, if all the trails are within 450 feet of each other, might just not have hunting available at all in general, just because of that. But I know it's a big property, so I imagine that there's probably going to be some areas if it did fall into that category. But it sounds like Beth might know something different from the township side of things, so.
Yeah, and it sounds like she's handling it or has been talking to that property owner resident.
Okay.
And what about last month when we had someone that wanted like a boat launch or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
The kayak launch.
Yeah.
I know we
What was everything?
mentioned it to Beth and then sent an email out to the gentleman about, we'll need to look into it and figure out. But at that point, we're not gonna do anything as that's not a project as of right now, so we'd have to talk about it and see if that would be something that the property even allows for such access, so that's as far as that went.
I'm trying to, sorry, was trying to jog my memory on
Was it like
what I was
you
reading.
referenced an easement, right? And you want to know if we could do a kayak launch
The
there.
township owns property across from Grace McDonald Park on Tibbetts, that butts up to Tibbetts. But Beth didn't know the scope of the property or what was even allowed at that property, so
Okay,
it'd be something we can talk about potentially for future plans.
okay,
The gentleman wanted us to create a public access there for launching boats and kayaks,
okay.
because he lost
I do,
access through a family member there, because the family member moved, so
okay,
I believe it's all surrounded, there's no other public state access or anything, it's all private property around it.
interesting, okay.
If I remember right, when we did that parks tour over there, it was like a small piece of pie, narrow and wetlands, but again, and it backed up to a lot of people's property. It's kind of an odd,
Yeah, a lot of
Access.
sliver of land.
very much so. Probably like our sliver there on Spider Lake. Which maybe next year we should look at those again.
Yeah, at least know what the property allows to even do, or,
Yeah, or make sure that it's still showing signs, owned by East Bay Township.
yeah.
We
Okay.
haven't done that in a while, at least 3 years.
Just township property, Mark.
Going through all those easements, and,
Sure.
walking them to those easements.
Yeah. Probably be important to see make sure they're properly marked for East Bay Township property and they're not being utilized for
Others.
other reasons.
All right. I'll move down to reports. The treasurer report, our treasurer is absent today.
There is a treasury report on your desk, though,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry I forgot to throw that into the packet for you.
That's okay. So maybe everybody take a couple minutes here to look this over, and then we can address any questions.
That attorney grant, engineer grant fees, we're over budget, but year-to-date 44.5, didn't we take some of that money from somewhere, or did that come out of Arbutus 5? Does anyone
Did we
remember?
have a contribution towards the woodland acquisition?
That came out of our land acquisition for Woodlands. But the attorney fees is what I'm questioning. There's like 10, 11, 12,000. We're over 12,000. Does anybody remember about that? Or where we're going to take that money from? Or I'm looking at the individual sheet here.
That one, you will have to do a budget amendment for it eventually here.
Do you know what that expense was? Does anyone know?
I do not.
Yeah,
About 12,000.
because there was 5,000 in the last quarter, which isn't, I mean, that's kind of in line with your budget, so, from on this sheet, but that's something I can look into.
Yeah, our budget for the year was 32,000. We're over that now.
Right.
And we had 39,000 as of June, so we're 4,000 over there. In 2023, it looks like went up to 42,000 for our next year's budget.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I don't have,
It looks like there's quite a few on this sheet that talk about Arbutus 5 as being engineering. And they were taken out of the, that attorney
Contract
engineering.
ser-
Yeah,
contract
because
services.
see right here
yeah.
on this sheet, they've got Wade Trim as quite a few in their Arbutus.
Were they
But some of
maybe
that-
working towards soliciting bids or anything? Would that fall, like,
I'm trying to recall where that's at right now. Not yet. It's almost there. It'll be ready for this winter.
But
So-
these are all for design. But some of that, won't that be coming back? Won't that be coming back from the grant funds for Arbutus? The 300,000?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Be something I can talk to the supervisor about and find out either where that money should be coming from.
I would assume
Yeah.
that's where it'll be coming from, is that grant money.
yeah, I'm more curious on how we went over. And was there something that came up that we,
So here's all the expenses.
okay. Yeah, we'll have to get an update from Beth. Okay, is anybody else want to discuss any other numbers from the treasurer report? Okay. Well, we'll move along to Subcommittee Community Garden Report. And if you don't mind, Commissioner LaRose, would you give us an update from the previous meeting?
We did not have a meeting in September, but since then, we have gave direction from our notes to the engineer. So the engineer, I believe, we hope, this week we will meet on Wednesday, and he'll have some kind of designs for us, for the community garden, we hope.
Was that Statecraft?
The engineer is Beckett and Reed.
Beckett Raider, Tim,
Okay.
But Elise, she is sick, so it's questionable on Wednesday if she'll be able to attend. And I have not checked my email, but I did email her last night asking, well, maybe we could do it via phone, and do either FaceTime or,
Yeah,
over the phone, but still have the meeting here. And she could just direct it, depending on how she feels, but she is sick.
yeah, I don't think there's anything that would prevent us from having a virtual meeting if we needed. I mean, there's not a quorum or anything, and
Well,
it's not a public meeting, right?
the
Is it?
garden committee is a
Well, it
public
is.
meeting,
It
so
is.
she can call in, because she's staff. So, or a consultant and can participate via, if she's feeling well enough. I think she offered to do that, so it just comes down to if she's feeling well enough to be able to participate. But the members of the committee do need to be present to participate.
Come think of it, yeah, Beth just sent an email out not long ago
Right.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah, so, Tim's supposed to be providing an updated scope and plan for design for the community
Sam
garden.
or Tim?
Tim,
Oh, Tim,
Tim,
okay.
yep. I did ask if Elise would come to our next Parks Commission meeting and maybe give a broader update of the community garden, just to bring the Parks Commission up to speed.
okay.
And hopefully by then, you'll have a little bit, you'll know what direction you're going with.
Yeah, and we actually have a list of items, from, I think it's 1 to 7. And I couldn't print that email off, but questioning, like who will be, how will we fund it? Who will be in charge? I mean, we have a whole 7 list, so that's going to be at our meeting on Wednesday, we hope, in addition to maybe some kind of little snippet of conceptual design, what it looks like.
Okay. Well, I think we need to move forward to item number 8C, staff.
Sure, and I put on your desk, I guess, I maybe should have mentioned this before you approved the agenda, so feel free to tell me to discontinue my discussion. But on your desk is a Holiday Woodlands proposal scope of services. Megan Motil has provided a proposal to, basically do your community engagement for Holiday Woodlands, and then we would be applying for some sort of a grant, maybe a seeds grant, to get the work done. And we talked about, this would be the component, last month we talked about doing the Park and Rec plan, starting together and then going into more focused on Holiday Woodlands. So that would be her component that she'd be working on behalf of the Parks Commission. And kind of timing-wise, I'm wondering if I need to get, recommendations from at least the Township Board. I don't know if the Parks Commission's ready to make any kind of a motion or be involved in it or anything like that here in the next month or two, so that we can apply for the grants. So I was going to see if we could add it onto the agenda, but I completely missed that part of it, to be able to talk about it a little bit more.
So is this a contract services? Is this going to
It
be
would.
like what Elise does, sort of?
Sort of like that. There is a, near the end, so it's on page 3 of 5, just above the estimated costs, it's got the outcomes and deliverables, so that's what she's going to be providing the commission. It talks about shared visions, common goals, desired outcomes, and metrics of success, roles, lines of authority, and levels of empowerment for decision-making, resources and resource flow, and internal and external communication expectations. She's got an estimated cost of $15,000. So we'd probably look for the Parks Commission to, or the township in general, to allocate $5,000 towards the contract and then ask for a grant of the $10,000 for the services.
And do you know how did this person show up?
Claire was working and trying to come up with somebody that would help be a good facilitator for the project. I don't know if, it's Megan Olds, she's
Yeah.
got, last name changed. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Megan and her work.
I caught that, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Okay, what about her? I know nothing about her.
Well, she's worked with my director from 3 directors ago. And that's how I know her, and I believe she actually lives in my house that I grew up in.
Oh, really?
But yeah, no, she, in my limited working with her, I thought she, was pretty well put together, and I knew she was involved with some of the other projects, like it's Parks and Rec Network, I believe. And I think it was around that time that she probably started this, like, I don't know, I'd have to really look into it, but yeah, we probably should hold off on doing anything with this until the next meeting, because we haven't added it to the agenda.
Plus, she'll probably want to read through it and see what she's doing, and,
Oh, it looks like there's a lot of good information about her and her company.
yeah. She does have quite a resume on there for you to take a look at, so.
Who is, so they meaning, who is they that the township would pay, the parks would pay the 5,000, the other 10,000 would be through a grant? Where
Right,
did
through a
that come
grant.
from? Where did that idea come from?
That was in talking with Claire today, because she was the one that started working on either the grants or the scope of services with Megan.
Would the grant be like from the Rotary or something?
Yeah, we're thinking that if we might be able to do a seeds grant with Rotary as an option.
That'd be about $5,000. I mean, it doesn't hurt to see, I mean, there's not a match for that, is there?
I think there is
feel
I
like
don't know.
the-
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, I feel like the 5,000 one was, there wasn't a match, but I could be wrong. But I mean, if there's not a match, I mean, wouldn't hurt. But, I guess the question is, what, because this was a proposal that was submitted, is it,
Well, after our budget.
is this something that we needed to open up for bids or anything, or?
It wouldn't be required for bids.
Okay,
And so it sounds like it's already been decided that we're going to go with this. I hate to say that, but
Well, no,
if somebody's already telling us,
Right.
well, if someone's already saying that, well, the parks can pay 5,000 and then we'll get the rest from grants, somebody's already has it on their table. So I'm just saying it. And then with that 5,000, so we've already done our budget for 2023. So I'm assuming that would come out of the contract services fees or the attorney.
isn't that the 5,000 that they're looking to write the grant for? Or is that 5,000 on top of? Because there's 10,000 for Woodland, correct? In the budget?
in the budget.
Yeah, that's,
And then if we, applied for the $5,000 grant, that'd be the 15,000, if there wasn't a match, I don't know.
I think we put in 10,000 in our proposed,
We
the
did
proposed
put in 10
budget
for-
to the board was for 10,000 for planning for Holiday Woodlands.
Yeah, we
So
did.
from 5 to 10, if you want to match the grant, you would, you have that budgeted. So this contract wouldn't be, so what needs to happen for the application for the grant is basically support resolutions of support that go with the grant, and then if we're awarded the grant, then you'd go through the hiring and the signing of the contract with the consultant. So this is kind of to give you an idea of what would cost and what the scope of work would be for that project. So this isn't necessarily finalized, it's something that if you wanted to get additional bids, you could do that. But,
And I
it is a
ima-
specialized thing too, so we want to make sure we get the right person to do the work.
And I imagine this is going to go into next year as well, so, 10,000 in this year's budget, then carried over into 2023. I don't recall what we budgeted, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we might.
Yeah,
have
this would all
covered
come
there.
out of next year.
budgeted 10,000 for 2023.
We can bring it back. I'll put it on the agenda for next month to work on.
Okay, thank you. All right, that puts us down to number 9, business before the Parks Commission.
Oh, wait, did you forget staff? What's staff?
That was that whole discussion.
Oh,
You didn't have anything further, did you?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, sorry. I probably should have asked that before moving along. All right, so item 9A, the winter's newsletter content, sledding party date.
So last year we did it on Saturday, February 5th. I was looking at my calendar. That same weekend would be the 4th. So I don't know if we want to.
That's what I looked at. We should just keep it the first Saturday in February.
Do you know, because I think we strategically picked that date because of Super Bowl or something. Like we wanted to be careful not to fall on the same date or something.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Okay.
didn't we do the sledding party on a Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we were, with the Super Bowl, I was just trying to maybe not do it that same weekend.
Yeah, Super Bowl's on the 12th, so it's the
Yeah,
following
that'd be the
weekend.
following.
Okay.
What about Vasa? Someone Google that, Vasa, 2023?
Oh, the Iceman cometh?
No, Boston.
Vasa.
The ski race.
I got the
11th
websites
and
now.
12th.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, right there, I see it now. Yep.
What is it?
11th
11th
and
and
12th
12th.
of February.
Oh.
Okay.
So, Super
That's the next
Bowl.
weekend. Yep.
So I'm just looking at those couple major dates or events, I think.
When does the newsletter go out?
The news,
November 1st, we have to have-
yeah, November 1st, I need to get the information to the township so they can put it in the newsletter for December 1st.
Okay.
And then the next newsletter will go out July 1st with the taxes, so we'll want to look by June 1st for that next round. So if there's anything, we talked about the sledding party, if there's anything else that you would want to do before July that you'd want to have organized or let anybody know, we'd also want to put that in the newsletter, but
I wrote a couple of things that we should be putting in the newsletter. You want to hear them?
Sure.
Well, do you want to settle on that first Saturday,
Yeah.
or do we need to come back to that?
Why don't we plan for the February 4th, and
Okay.
then if there's any issues that come up between now and November 1st,
Yeah, so a couple of weeks,
just,
yeah. And we can always, we'll put, make sure to check online to, if the date changes or the weather or something like that. What was your time window for it last time?
We did like 12 to 3, didn't we?
yeah, I feel like it was 12 to 3.
Was that good, too long, too short?
I thought it was a good amount of time.
I don't know. I thought it was I thought it was a couple hours, but let me look. I think I
I
might
don't
have put it
think
in
we were
here.
there. No.
You don't think we were there for 3 hours?
No.
For some reason, I thought it was 12 to 3.
Stand by.
It was at 1 to 3.
Oh, maybe
It
it was
was,
1 to 3.
okay, I put 1 to 2, but it's probably 1 to 3, 2 hours, yeah.
1 to 3?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think 2 hours was.
Okay.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do the first Saturday, kind of just say the first Saturday, and it's February 4th this year from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
That'll
you
be
said, check the website
Yep.
and conditions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had it from 1 to 3 last year, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can up the ante of the food or a contest or
We could probably do some more
a
planning.
snow sculpture, blah, blah, blah.
Could maybe,
But some good hot food, whether we start a campfire or something.
sure.
We got time to figure that out.
Yep.
But, essentially, we're trying to keep it pretty much the same as last year, kind of consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we talked about, at last month's meeting, we talked about kicking off the survey maybe for the Park and Rec plan as something that we would inform people about. So I'm hoping that we'd be able to start working on some questions, maybe next month or December, so that, February I was thinking it was March for some reason. But, or even if it's, we're going to be doing the survey in a little bit, the next month. Keep a lookout for it, so,
Okay.
okay.
Um,
You had other things for the newsletter?
I did, for the park. The results of the community garden survey, the top 4 activities that came, and if you don't have them, I have a copy of them here. in the top 4 for activities for the community garden, and I have the percentages, but whatever you want to do about that. There's learn how to grow fruit, vegetables, and herbs was number 1. Number 2 was learn how to compost, which, by the way, is going to be such an exciting thing in the future here. It's going to be probably changing within 10 years, 20 years, hopefully I'm still around. But even to have the community already wanting to learn about it, the composting, that's great. So anyways, and I can't wait till the community garden, we have that going. And then the third one was seed exchange, and the fourth one was creative workshops. And if you wanted to put the percentages in there, I got them.
Okay.
And then the second thing that I thought might be good for parks, I know we probably only get one little paragraph, is to list our priorities for 2022 and 2023. And maybe, I don't know, do we have any current projects that will be completed by then? Not really, we still have a lot of irons in the fire right now, don't we?
Yeah.
So maybe we could just go, of our list of priorities for 2022, 2023, or 24, whatever you want to do. And I have on here the ADA for the parks, Grace Warming Hut, Community Garden, Hammond Park, planning, trail maps all through the township, throughout the township, but trail maps. Arbutus 5, Phase 1 and 2, Killingsworth bathroom, and 5-year rec plan, and then we need to put on there the woodlands. So,
Yeah, I wonder if, because the newsletter would be a good time to, get people to sign up for more information, like when things come up. I wonder if we can create something where they could, submit a form, like, hey, I'm interested in stuff about the woodland, if there's meetings or anything like that, maybe add them to an email list, or, that might be more complicated than it's worth, but I mean, I wonder if anybody else can think of a system or something that would,
and a lot of that too is going to come from that survey, because that's how we actually have 21 people that said they would be interested in that community garden to help. So we have all their emails.
Yeah.
How do you get, ultimately, how do you get the public involved with the Parks Commission?
Yeah. It is difficult. I mean, I think that if you look, you can go to our website, and then but you need to make sure you update your website and provide the content, the information on there.
Lordy,
Or.
Please get, for parks, can we please sometime here, maybe not till next year, but get that updated.
So,
It's drastically, and I would hope.
update it or like change it.
Change and update it. And I find all the different township websites that I go to, ours is very not friendly or easy, just even to search. Our search engine is horrible. But if somebody wanted to go to the parks to see, where's all our trails, I know we had discussed trails is part of that, I think that's always will be with us from here on out due to, the last 2 years, how everyone's been living more outdoors. So it would be nice to incorporate trails and have that on the website. But we got a lot of
Who's
work
in
to
charge
do.
of the website?
Hmm?
Who's in charge of the website?
Good question.
well, the parks page would be this commission. So, whatever kind of content, and we can talk about that, I guess, maybe that's a little off topic right now, but,
Yeah, it
we can talk about maybe trying to get some content to put on there, what you'd like to see. We would have to, stick to kind of the format of,
Right.
whoever's hosting it, but definitely get more information of
Updated
whatever you're looking.
pictures.
I mean,
Yeah,
who- Is someone local?
like me.
You're the one that updates?
I'll have to, yes, work on it. Or,
That was my
yeah,
question. I figured we determine what we want, but
right.
who actually,
There was usually like somebody here in the township that
Sure.
would update it, I think it's bounced around to just about everyone.
Yeah, I guess it probably depends on what's being updated too. Some things are probably easier than others.
Sure. I think each department takes care of stuff, but,
Now, I know when I first came on the commission, and one of the first meetings I attended was, there was an agenda item reviewing the website.
Go down that road.
It's not worth it?
No, I think that's a discussion that needs to be discussed here with the supervisor and I guess all the other township officials. I believe it needs to have an updated face to it. Again, even to find documents, sometimes on my phone it never warrants. So we're living in the year 2022, so we got to update it, and it'd be nice. So that's something maybe we should talk with the supervisor about. And it
Sarah?
would be nice to have somebody in charge from the parks that could have some.
Yeah. Sarah, I'm always making a plea also for more books for the little libraries.
I dropped off some books at Grace McDonald.
You did? Thank you. Recently, like,
Maybe a week, probably 2 weeks ago.
okay. There have been some great
Is in between-
donations this fall and late summer, but.
Yeah, I got plenty of books.
How low are you on books?
Actually, right now, we're doing okay. There is, a school gave a lot of their older books. You know, it's just, maybe I have too much of the librarian in me that sometimes I'm not always appreciative of the books. Do I want to say that? You know, when they are instructional books,
Like classroom books
yeah.
instead of.
They're, you know, like they're very limited vocabulary to be very specific lesson on short vowels or something. I mean, those all have a place, they do, absolutely, but I'd love putting in the really beautiful
They could ride in their scooters, not going to go and grab that one.
The
Just taking
other
up
thing
space.
that is, I will say, it seems that people are participating more with the libraries on a two-way system, not just taking lately, which is nice. And so some of the adult books, actually, what's really probably most needed is middle school novels, high school novels, you know. And it's probably not the place those people are going to go find a book, but sure would be nice to have some nice ones, especially fourth, fifth grade novels, you know, just good books to,
Just in reading.
yeah,
I can put a little plug in there for that.
okay.
And are we taking donations here at the school, or here at the township hall? Didn't we
There have
take
been
that?
some, yeah, they're invited to drop them off here, and there've been some. And then they magically get over to Grace
They
McDonald.
just drop them off at the front desk.
We should really think, I had a thought once years ago that there's a lot of people out there, other than just here at our parks, that have those little libraries.
Yes,
And to have some kind of party that, everyone goes to each little library and make a fun party out of it, but we'd want to have books first before we did that. So whether we can reach out to, I know we did before, I don't know what happened to that list, of everyone that has a little library on their property in East Bay Township, if they would be willing to put their name on a list, would be one. And then two, once that list was created, we could have some fun Saturday, drive-a-thon or something at each little library. I mean, I don't know, to help donate a book. If you donate a book, you get, I don't know, a free book or whatever. I'm just shooting out ideas, but I'm sure there's some creative ideas to generate more books for everyone in the township, plus for the township
Do they,
parks.
isn't there like a registration website to register?
There is.
it's optional, but certainly.
And a lot of people like to make them to complement their house, so it looks like their house and all that.
Well,
It'd be
I-
kind of cool to, have people do like a photo collage of the ones that they have in front of their house,
And wouldn't that be nice to have an East Bay Township list? I have a library at my house, and I would love to know all the other ones in East Bay Township other than at the parks, and I'm sure there's others that might want to do that too.
I think there's like 2 or 3 in my neighborhood. My kids are always hitting them up,
Yeah.
putting things in them too.
I mean, maybe you could think of how to do do that, Sabrina?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I haven't given it any thought.
I mean, would you want to, if you're looking for donations and books, would you want to say, even for your sledding party? And if you, like, if they're coming specifically because you're there, maybe they'd bring a book with them. If they're not, they're just there, you still get hot chocolate, you don't have to, but maybe that's part of the event too, is, we're doing a book drive, stop
Maybe
by.
that could be, if you bring a book, you get a drawing or a ticket to a drawing of, I don't know, I'll find something, giveaway. So if you bring a book, you get a little ticket, and then that's drawn at 3 o'clock. And you have to be there,
Is-
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, the whole premise of the library, though, is always is to exchange. You know, they're not take boxes,
Right.
But they are.
they are,
We all experience that.
yeah.
Well, I think it's just, they take them,
They
Forget
forget to
about
bring
it.
back.
if you don't exchange one when you go there.
Yeah.
I stamp all of mine, so I know which ones aren't in there, but I haven't been very good at being a librarian for mine, but it's full. I don't know of what, but.
Just need to make people aware.
Yeah.
Maybe, is that even, is it referenced in our website at all?
It is on the, under the Park Commission's little libraries, and it talks about in East Bay Township, the parks that have the libraries and how you can donate.
Is Jen's Park closed up, you guys? Does anyone know?
Usually November they do that?
I'm not sure.
Like winterize the bathroom and stuff?
I would guess here soon.
So Sabrina, are the people still stopping in at that park for books?
I have to
wonder-
admit, I haven't been to that one. Haven't been able to do that.
Okay. Anything else for the newsletter that you'd like me to include?
Nothing that I can really think of.
Okay.
Are you going to add a reminder to the little library, we're always taking?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll do that. We'll do this, so I've got the sledding party, the results of the community garden survey, the priorities for next year, and then a little blip about accepting books for the little libraries. I'll probably write something about Holiday Woodlands, that we just acquired it, that as well, and to look for more information, and that we're going to be working on the Park and Rec plan.
Yep.
Make sure you get
Like-
full page, will you?
Something like, there's a lot of future planning coming up,
Yes,
if
it's a
you'd like
busy
to
year.
get involved, sign up here and we'll
Yeah.
add you to an email list or something. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it can be challenging to get people to go to those kind of meetings too. You almost have to like go out and find them.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then anything, I know I kind of sprung this on you, but is there anything else that you think you'd want to get done or have people be aware of before July 1st?
Ugh.
Any type of an event or anything like that? I think we can look and, July 1st, you still have some time left in the summer if you wanted to do, we'll probably have an open house at some point on the Park and Rec plan, maybe in the fall, September time.
Yeah.
But that can be in that newsletter. Beth had mentioned that there's going to be some, a cornhole area poured.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So maybe at some time we could do some sort of a cornhole tournament or,
Well,
yeah, so.
although we really don't want people to know about that court.
Hey, that's a big thing. We had an entire event of cornhole tournaments going on in Howe Arena. I was really surprised.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, that'd be cool.
Cornhole and pickleball.
There you go. So, okay, well, I will do my best on some newsletter content for you.
All right, let's move down to item B, potential Spark grant applications.
So the Spark grant applications actually open up next Monday. They still have not released a lot of information about it. There's a webinar next week, so I'll hopefully get some more information. So at this time, I think that, I know the next meeting is going to cut it close to the deadline, but I'm I don't have good guidance at this point. I know that income's going to be a consideration into the grant, so we may have a little bit of trouble with that, scoring high on that, but that's, only one component of the whole thing.
What kind of projects are you thinking, or what?
We can do planning, so you could do, you might be able to do planning for Holiday Woodland, although we kind of already have another thought in mind for a grant for that. But you could do planning, you can do construction, redevelopment, that is one thing they talked about. So if there's either like an underserved population, or say you have playground equipment that needs to be replaced or added onto, that's, all kind of part
How
of it,
about
so.
fixing the,
I could come up with a good list if it's playground related.
Yeah.
How about what, Sabrina?
I can't remember the name of it. The park,
Jen's or,
furthest into town.
Pine Grove?
Thank you.
yeah.
I mean, we talked a lot about getting that,
Oh, yep.
that whole play area more accessible. I mean, that seems like if they're looking for limited incomes, that's certainly that neighborhood more, and I think that,
You got wood chips and loan, I mean, you can almost write a grant just for that.
well,
Yeah.
and then just the
The whole
fencing
border
thing
around
to
that.
hold the chips. We spent a lot of time talking about that in May.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
And that would be a good one for planning and doing some upgrades for.
Looked at the
Updated
hoops.
playground equipment.
We looked at putting another swing in there. I guess we did get the one ADA swing in there, didn't we?
I know we were talking basketball hoops and stuff like that for Grace and Pine Grove. And those could be costly too, but I imagine it's probably not enough to, we probably want something bigger for that grant. Yeah, trying to think it over.
Yeah.
I'd like to see something with that soccer field at Grace McDonald. Right now, it's not really playable because it's so bumpy, you'd have to get like one of those rollers out there to flatten it out and redo all that. But I mean, that could, field use is in high demand
Yeah.
in this area. And, if we had a good field, it'd be rented.
More pickleball.
Expand the pickleball.
It's going to be in the next 15 years. Yep.
And now, one thing we,
Been hearing that a lot lately, just pickleball.
I videoed it.
to improve the pickleball, there is, when it rains, the tennis courts dry quickly. The pickleball courts do not, because they are such that they have collect pockets of puddles.
Oh,
So just FYI, I mean, even if you take the squeegee and you're brushing it off, they just don't drain as well.
is the squeegee like a regular squeegee, or is that a roller, like a soft roller kind of deal?
I think it has the rolls on it.
Okay, because I know like some ball fields, like when you have rain and stuff, they spread the water out as much as you can.
Yeah, that's what this does is,
Okay.
and I know somebody
Just
also
not
brings
enough.
his leaf blower sometimes to blow.
Oh, yeah.
But the tennis courts will be ready pretty quickly, just naturally, whereas there's definitely a problem in the way those pickleball courts were.
Well, not only is it the way, but it's the material. Because if you look at those tennis courts compared to the surface of that pickleball, I think it was different material that they used on the pickleball. We could research it.
Plays the same.
Is it,
Isn't the tennis courts asphalt base to where I thought the pickleball court used to be a concrete pad there for the longest time? So
I don't know.
is it not, water not penetrating through the concrete as well?
As the asphalt.
The-
I don't know that. There's just definite puddles.
I mean, it probably wasn't
Might-
set up for pickleball.
I don't think they
originally.
resurfaced and touched that
Yeah.
surface. They just went over. the
Yeah, they
existing.
surfaced it with
Yeah, because that, I think, was about 15,000, or was it 30?
That was before my time, I'm just,
Yeah.
remember back in the day, that used to be concrete.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know some more information, I guess, at next month's meeting.
Well, how much time will we have from,
It's a 6-week application. So I think the deadline's the end of November, beginning of December. So I may be able to communicate more information to you once they open the application and then
Maybe
have the webinar.
Email us a update
Yeah,
of some of the criteria.
yeah, and that'll get you thinking about projects. Yeah.
Okay. We'll move along to Grace McDonald message boards. Are we looking for content?
Yes, content for these boards. Right now, there's not much on them.
that's a
So-
3-pyramid thing, right?
Yes, yes, so it's got the AED there. But what else the Parks Commission would like to see out there, either that you can provide, or if it's something we need to go back and have done to include on there, what you think would be helpful, what you use when you go to other parks, that we might want to put out there.
How about do we, I'm sorry, I'm pretty scattered tonight. Is there information regarding parks meetings, like when
Can we
they
put
are
that
and
out
all
there?
that?
Yeah,
How do you attach those to that backboard, do you know?
I'm not
Is that a
sure.
push pin, or is that,
I think it's just a push pin. Or
Parks
stand.
meeting date, that'd be a great way to start. That should probably be in all the parks.
right?
I mean, I think we need.
Park rules?
Park
I agree
rules.
with all the park rules, hours, map.
Because that's a good place to put, instead of having it plastered with signs all over the place.
And
You would have it right there, and it
And-
looked neater,
the rental information, especially at Grace McDonald.
and the rental.
Is there a map of the trail around
I was
it?
going to ask, any trail maps yet?
There are if you're on the trail.
You could do something on
That'd be a good,
reporting Oakville, because we had Oakville in that park.
Okay.
that'd be a good one for you, Zachary. Get some trail map things going.
Yeah.
You know, I also walked the Empire Bluff Trail yesterday, and they had a little thing to clean your shoes
Yeah.
before and after. I had not seen that before.
Oh, there's one, they're the ones on Keystone, those parks on Keystone all
Yeah.
have them.
Conservation District.
Yeah, Keystone, all the ones along the
Yeah.
Boardman Trail?
Yeah,
Yeah, they all have them.
okay.
That's what I was just somewhere this weekend that had one too, and I cannot remember where I was at though.
A lot of the parks do,
Yeah.
Okay.
a lot of your federal.
Those county parks.
Is that what it was? It was a county park.
The NER has
Oh,
a,
that's a great idea, though, and
It's
the
just
reason
for-
why they do it is great, really,
Yeah.
So you don't spread
Yeah.
right?
invasive species.
Would that make sense to put one in at this message center for Grace, or doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know where it's
The
at.
It'd be
trailhead.
more fitting.
Yeah,
at the
because that's not
trail.
really, yeah.
Or, yeah, entrances and exits of. the
Yeah.
trail.
it might be something handy for the courts, I don't know.
Yeah.
People come with dirty shoes and mess them up, or,
Maybe you could put in what you're gonna put in the newsletter. Have a little blurb, there's the February party, do that one
Update.
separate. so
Yep.
You can take them down, but what's our priorities for this next coming year? We're gonna be working on the rec plan, so that at least people who may not read that newsletter, if they go to the park, they might take time to read it.
I feel
Okay.
like the message board should be updated more frequently with some more of our quarterly updates or something, what's going on in the parks.
Yeah.
Might keep the public more involved,
Mm-hmm.
aware.
We'll put our minutes, approved minutes in there.
that could get tedious to do,
We're gonna be
though.
updating it.
But you could have a sign with a QR code that takes you directly to the minutes.
Yep.
And then, we don't have to change it out all the time. I mean, that'd be,
Great idea, great idea.
you could do a QR code for reporting problems in the park or anything that needs maintenance or, That's what I do with our cleaning service in the county parks, and, you know, we get a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
More than just maintenance feedback?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's all feedback that we want to hear about, obviously, but it's just, you'll definitely hear about everything that's wrong, so.
Okay.
I think that'd be great, though.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I like that. We'll see if we have any space left. Once we work, some of it will take a little bit of time probably to get together, but other information, I think we can get up there pretty quickly.
Yeah, Eagle Scout projects, you know, like how to get involved or propose one or something like that. I mean,
Speaking of Eagle Scout, did that,
has anything evolved from
Yeah.
it or?
I mean, I thought he was going to meet, kind of get final approval.
Yeah, he did send over a revised drawing that the supervisor took a look at. Let me see. Yeah, the plans are looking good for that, and if you want, I can forward those on to you to take a look at. He didn't have to come back for anything for the commission. The only thing you asked is, you know, a final kind of picture and presentation on it. One of the suggestions that did come up on that was maybe moving that bulletin board to Holiday Woodlands, since that's a new property and doesn't, you know, to get kind of the exposure and to inform people through the planning process, it'd be a great place as we're working through planning on that property.
And is that going to be managed by the Land Conservancy?
The property,
Yeah,
I don't know those details.
because, I mean, they do a lot of kiosks
Yeah.
and they're pretty uniform. So I would check before, you know, sending it that way,
Yeah.
just to make sure they didn't have something planned.
And it might be something that, yeah, if they have something planned, or if it's something that's there temporarily and then it gets moved over. But we're, you know, supervisor's working with the Eagle Scout to make sure he's okay with everything and all of that. So
Cool.
that is moving.
Can you send the plan so
Yeah.
we could see
Yep.
what he came up with?
And other than that, I have nothing further. Still no public comment, because there's no public. The next meeting is November 21st, 2022. And unless anybody has anything else they want to contribute or say, I could take a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn this meeting. 7:00.
Support.
Motion by Garland, second by LaRose. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this meeting is adjourned.
At 7:03.